You know, to that point, Jill, I think the American people believe that there's something in there as well, because we've got some new polling out this morning from NBC News in which 57% of voters say the investigations into Trump should continue. So do you think the seriousness of the situation is registering with the American public, and they want to know what actually happened?
I think there's been a cumulative effect between the January 6th committee hearings, which made public many facts that people weren't necessarily aware of before that, and put it in a context that people could understand the risk to American democracy that was posed by all the activities. And then just the release of the list of crimes that were being investigated, which, by the way, Rudy Giuliani is incorrect. The espionage statute specifically says, and here it is, it says having or transmitting defense information. It doesn't say destroying it. So it's not a question about he didn't violate the law. He has that information, and any questions about probable cause are eliminated by the fact that whatever they knew in advance proved to be true, because everything they were looking for was actually at Mar-a-Lago. And I think the fact of FBI agents leaving with 11 sets of top secret or classified documents, some of which were classified at the top secret, sensitive, compartmented information level, which is the highest level possible, is something that is making people think twice and reminds them that in his early days in office, he gave secret information from Israel to the Russian ambassador in the Oval Office. So he does not treat our defense information in a way that will protect our country. And that has to make people think twice about why he's being investigated in this particular case.
So, Charles, we got about a minute before we take a quick break. I want to have you break this down for us a little bit further, because the data by party becomes very, very clear and somewhat predictable. 92% of Democrats think the investigation should continue, 61% of independents, and just 21% of Republicans. What do you glean from that? What does it say to you?
Well, it says narrative control is the name of the game. I think that from the beginning of Donald Trump's foray into public office, he understood very clearly, he who controls the narrative controls the public. And so he's done, for a lack of better words, a good job of creating distrust among a significant amount of his followers between mainstream media. And there are still some people who it's clear, whether you look at the public or whether you look at elected officials across the country, who still, for some reason, feel beholden to this man. He has convinced a significant number of his following, look, you can't trust normal media. You can't trust what you're hearing. You can only trust me. I'm the one. I'm the source. And I think that's what's representative of that 21% that is still sort of like hanging on in terms of not necessarily wanting these things to continue, thinking it's a hoax, thinking that the government, for some reason, is out to get a former president who has already been impeached multiple times. That's where that comes from, is that Donald Trump understands the importance of narrative control. And that's been his strongest weapon that he has continued to rely on despite all of his myriad legal troubles.
All righty. Don't go anywhere, because Charles Coleman and Jill Wine-Banks will be back to continue our conversation after a quick break.